Hi, and welcome to question 3 of the 2023 paper 2 of the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level. As always, if you want a copy of the notes I'm working off, just send me an email to shanetroy@gmail.com. Like and subscribe to get access to more playlists. So question 3 is actually quite long, and I was just reviewing it before, and I just realized how much I dislike probability. So we get stuck in. So 3 part A, part 1. In how many ways can the letters in the word camogie be be arranged? So the first thing I do is I write down the word camogie, okay, even just to give my brain a chance to realize that there is no repetition, okay. They're all different letters. And then I'd be going, well, if I was trying to arrange them, like in my first choice, okay, I could have 7 choices. Now, and this is the implication, and I could have, after I've chosen one, I only have 6 choices left, and then I only have 5 choices left, and then 4, and let's go to the answer. Okay, 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. And because it says and this is something we'll see over and over again, and means multiply. Now, or means add. Okay, so if you can figure out in probability which scenario it is, even multiplying 2 things together, will the factor multiplication is there. Now it depends on the marking scheme, but that's the same thing as 7 factorial. Now, the factorial button on the calculator, and if I have calculator here on this particular one, where the hell is it? What's up here? Sorry. So 7, and then it's the shift, and then factorial. So that's what it looks like. That's the same thing as 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that comes out at 5,040. So there are 5,040 ways to rearrange those letters. Okay. Now it seems big, but like if you start thinking about it, I could go C with AMOGIE, C with MAOGIE. And if you start listing out all the different things, you'd realize pretty fast that it seems endless. And then that number makes more sense. Okay. So that's a 5 marker. You're always looking to get the attempts. So now I should have had this open, and I do on a different screen. So the attempt there for that particular question would be some correct terms multiplied. So if you had said 7 letters times 6, in fact, you might have got up to the 4 there. In recent, it does say some correct terms. So just multiplying 2 things, and there's no other letters. So maybe if you'd realized that there was even 7 letters and multiplied that by anything, you would have got the attempt. Now, part 2 is a 10 marker. Okay, it is a little bit trickier. So it says how many of the arrangements in part A1 start with an M and end with a vowel? Now, this is the kind of question in probability or arrangements or permutations, combinations that just wreck my head. I'm never sure if I'm right. Now, they do call out what the vowels are, A, E, A, O, I, E. So if I look at the word camogie, okay, and even again, writing this out, okay, camogie, I'm going to realize that there is how many vowels? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 vowels. Okay. Now they do spell that out there, so maybe they wouldn't give. I'm just checking here. Now it says the low partial, any work of merit, but for example, that might mean multiplying by 4 for the vowels. So I'm not sure if just saying 4 vowels would work, but maybe writing it out. That is work of merit. You're identifying how many vowels. Okay. Now the answer, I'll flick to the next page, and the logic here would be you have to start with an M, so you only have one choice. Now you have to end with one of 4 choices, so you're multiplying by 4 on the other end. Now because you've used up a choice, okay, of the 7 and a second choice, then whatever is here, there's only 5 options. Okay, there's a vowel used up and an M used up. Now you don't know which vowel, but there's a vowel used up. So there's 5 options left. Then because you've used up another one, there's 4 options, then 3, then 2, and then 1. And again, the scenario is an and scenario. Okay, you're choosing an M and another letter and another letter. Okay, and it's multiplied all the way along. So if you remember, even if you're not sure, and this is a trick, but if there was 2 numbers and you, like, let's say you multiplied 7 by 6, and then you weren't sure and you went, oh, maybe it's 7 plus 6. Write both of them down. Okay, the one you think is less likely, just put a line through it. Never Tipp-Ex out, never cross out, never scribble out. Just leave it sitting there. Okay, and technically that's work of merit. If there's a correct answer on the page, it has to be graded. Now it's a bit of a hack. It doesn't always work. And if you're trying to hack the system, it's probably as well as like spending time actually learning the content. Okay, but there are times when it might be useful to know that, and if you're unsure that something's on the page is useful, and you want to scribble it out, never scribble out. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now you multiply all those numbers together, you get 480 ways. Okay. Now that's that. There's more strategies to do that than what I've done there. So the next one now is part 3A. Part 3 is a 5 marker, a 5B scale, so there's less divisions here. It says how many arrangements of 3 different letters can be made from the letters in the word camogie. So you have 3 options here. So even drawing the 3 boxes is work of merit. And then in those arrangements, you would have initially 7 options, and so multiply 6 options left then because you've used up one of them, and then there's 5 options left. Okay. Now 7 by 6 by 5 is the same thing as 210. Okay, so there's 210 ways to pick out 3 different letters. That's not too bad. Now the next one, this is back into more regular territory, and even before we look at the numbers, okay, whatever is your x-axis and your y-axis, okay, and in science, our x-axis would be our independent variable, what we're controlling, and then we measure the effect on something else, on the dependent variable. We could say input, output, or it could be just x, y. But whatever's happening here, whatever trend is happening, it's a negative downward trend, okay? Now, if you look at the answers, okay, only one of these is negative. So straight away, I'm going to go, even if I'm BSing, okay, I'm going to go A. So now I have 2 choices here. Now, these 2 numbers are different, okay, and they're pretty far spread apart. Now, whatever the trend is here, this is a positive trend. Now, so is this, but this is more diverse or more loose, okay? There's less correlation, okay? So look, if I was like trying to guess, I'd call that B, and then you're left with C. Now the question says 3 scatter plots are shown below. They are labeled ABC. Each scatter plot has the same axes and scales. It says the correlation coefficient for each scatter plot was calculated, and the results were whatever, 0.95, 0.6, and negative 0.95. And then the question says write each of the letters A, B, and C in the correct place in the table below to show which scatter plot corresponds to each correlation coefficient. Look, to my mind, that's fairly attemptable. Okay. Now the marking scheme is for that is now there's actually this is marked over 2 parts. Okay. So if you get one correct part, you get the high partial, which is the 8, which I always find weird. Okay. So if you got this fully correct, you have 8 marks. Now, if you get the next part fully correct, okay, that's right. Yeah. The next part 2, if you get this right, okay, you get the 8 marks. Now it says here for scatter plot B, so this one, okay, explain why the value you picked is correct. Okay, so you could say, let me just go to the answer. I've said here the points are going up as the x values increase, so do the y values. So that's why B and C are similar in that way. As x gets bigger, y gets bigger. Okay. Now this indicates a positive correlation. You can say the values are more closely aligned than C, hence the value of 0.95. Okay. Now the answers in the marking scheme, it says strong positive linear correlation. So as X goes up, Y goes up. I've said that. Points all lie close to a positive straight line. Okay. Yeah, kind of said that too. There's many ways of saying that, but it can be tricky. You could say like the dots are more closely aligned, and it's going up. That would do it, I'd say. Okay. That's not the nicest way of saying it, but it's doable. And again, that's on its own is 8 marks. So if you get both parts right, you get the 10. Okay, so that's the end of question 3. As always, if you want a copy of the notes I'm working off, just send me an email to shanetroy@gmail.com, and like and subscribe to get access to more playlists. See you on question 4.